Hey guys, it's Benjamin and welcome to another video here at The Guide. And it's time to talk about FC24, the successor of FIFA 23. The name is completely new, it's the beginning of a new era, and a couple of days ago, EA published the first information about the new gameplay features and changes, and I already played FC24. And in this video, I will give you my assessment, my prediction, my educated guess what could be the most impactful gameplay features and changes, what could be meta defining. This is what we're going to do in this video. I will present you my top 5 new gameplay features. And by the way, I'm going to show you some videos and also explanations which is taken out of the gameplay deep dive. This is published by EA itself and I highly recommend to have a look at this for yourself. The link is in the video beschreibung. The video beschreibung, exactly. The link to it is in the video description, as well to another page which we composed and where we compressed all the information available about FC24, also in the future about the upcoming information for the different game modes. So if you want to stay up to date about the latest information for FC24, I also recommend to have a look at our own page. The link is also in the video description. And we're going to start with some honorable mentions, and the first one is Accelerate 2.0. If you played FIFA 23 on next gen, so PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, you've most definitely heard about lengthy. There is no way around it. This was the definition of a meta. Everybody tried to include lengthy players in their team because this acceleration type was the most dominant. Now in FC24 we have Accelerate 2.0 and there are 4 new acceleration types, so 7 in total, and this is also part of my argument why I don't include this in the top 5, because now I think with 7 in total it won't be the case that there's one acceleration type which is as dominant as lengthy was in FIFA 23. Next up we have the advanced shot cancels. So in FC24 you can cancel your shooting attempts by doing a skill move. And yes, this was already going up and down on social media after it got available, these kind of videos, and I have to admit, it looks extremely strong, it looks super fancy, but I also feel like it might be not as easy to do and also to find the right spots for it. It looks easy in the video examples, but it might be not as easy to find the right spots in the game. And as the last honorable mention, before we come to the top 5, I want to bring up the changes to player switching, because I personally think that this part of the game, player switching, has a huge impact on my feeling about responsiveness and also control over the game. And there are 2 changes to it. First of all, now when it comes to right stick player switches, you have a sensitivity setting which is going to determine or distinguish between the direction that you go with the right stick player switch and also distance. So you can set up what is most important when you do a right stick player switch, the direction or how close the player is that you want to switch to. And the other aspect is about the second man indicator. There are different approaches how this is assigned to a teammate, and this is something which I personally struggle quite a lot, or where I moan quite a lot about when I play FIFA 23. So now I can set to a different approach how this is assigned, and I feel like this can have a huge impact on the overall experience. Number 5 of the most impactful gameplay features of FC24 is the effort dribble touch. You do it by pressing the R1 or RB button and flicking the right stick. And this is maybe a little bit similar to something that we already know, for example nutmegs or bridge moves, those kind of flicking moves, but this is a tool by design which allows you to get to the ball with a touch with your feet as fast as possible. So like this is the best way to do a surprising direction change and also to make sure or increase the chance of you getting to the ball before your opponent. And this is why I feel like this can have a huge influence. You can use it to react what the opponent is doing. You see, well, he's moving out, he's going in for a tackle, then this might be the way to go to avoid the opponent, to do a surprising direction change. And that's why I feel like this can be very impactful. There's also something like a controlled first touch, which you do with the effort dribble touch. So I sense there's a lot of potential in this way of potentially controlling the ball, but also avoiding the opponent and outmaneuvering him, outdoing him with a good dribble touch. Number 4 is the controlled sprint. So a new dribbling technique which you do by holding the R1 or RB button, and as the name already gives away, it's a mix between the sprint, which you know, and then also just left stick dribbling. So it's right in between, and this makes it so tricky. And I think especially at the beginning of FC24, this is going to be considered OP. But the reason is not that it is actually really OP, but it's just something new, very unusual. And the thing is, I already experienced it. I already did it on my side as the attacker, but also I experienced it as a defender. And the thing is, it's super weird in terms of timings of the ball contacts. And this is something that we all have to learn as the attacker to use it, but especially as a defender. When is the timing to move out, to go for the ball, and when should you stay back and wait and get in a better position? This is a big challenge, especially at the beginning when we all don't have the experience to deal with it. And that's why I think at the beginning, everybody is going to say, whoa, this is super overpowered. But after we get the experience, I think we were going to learn how to deal and control the controlled sprint. So that's why I only put it at number 4, but I also know that in the beginning, everybody is going to talk about it. At number 3, we have, maybe a little bit surprising, precision shooting. So why could this be surprising? Because there's only text in the pitch notes article, no video, no flashy examples, just a dry explanation. And I feel like that's part of the reason why it didn't get the attention that this change is deserving. It's about semi-assisted shooting, and this is something as of now which most of the time you shouldn't do, because it just feels like you have a disadvantage when you play with semi-assisted shooting. But this is going to change, and there's one sentence in it. I'm just going to read it. Our goal is to reward players for their aiming ability with more consistent shot outcomes. This consistent, I feel like, is key. If this precision shooting is going to change the approach, that you will have more consistent shot outcomes when you use it and you master it, and then you have an advantage over the opponent, the impact of this change can be huge, because then you as a player, you can learn something and you can generate an advantage over the opponent because you have more consistent finishing. And if that is the case, this can change our approach of playing this game. Because not only do we change the setting, but also how we aim. So like, how do we aim with the left stick? And that's why I think this can be a very impactful change. So we come from precision shooting and we're going to stay with precision, because number 2 is precision passing. This is a new passing technique, which is basically manual passing, which you can do with a certain button combination. You press the R1 or RB button, and then you either go for a through ball, which is the ground pass variation, or you go for a lobbed ball, which you can also use for crosses. And the whole thing about this is not only that you aim manually, which is already great, because then you can spot the gap in the defensive line and exactly pinpoint the power and direction where this ball should end up, but also the player, the teammate which should receive the ball, is going to run in this direction. So it's not only manual passing, but also goes somewhat in the direction of directed runs, because you're going to give the teammate a direction where you should run to. So this is a very interesting combination, and overall this feature is also going to add a new layer where you as the player, if you go for the right input in terms of power and direction, you have a new way how you can generate a skill gap. I think this might have the tendency to be overused, because I can tell you it's a lot of fun to give it a try and try it over and over again. But then that might be also the problem with that, because then maybe there will be other or better options, or just go for a normal through ball. But you, as someone with a personal pride, will say like, okay, I will do it as a precision pass, and then it's going to fail. So you have to treat it with caution, but also it's a lot of fun to do, and that's why I feel like it's the number 2 of the most impactful gameplay features. And now we come to the grand finale. The number 1 most impactful new gameplay feature of FC24, PlayStyles, which is basically the old trade system, but it's the trade system on another level. And this already gives us an understanding how impactful this is going to be, because we all know the traits of certain players, like how important it could be to have the finesse shot trait, or how nice it is to have some players with the outside foot shot trait, for example. And now with PlayStyles, this is going to be even more impactful. But let's take a step back. There are over 30 different playstyles and they come in 2 different levels. The basic one, which is already going to provide the player something unique. So for example, faster power shots or better accuracy on first time passes. But then there's the second level, the Playstyle Plus. And this is going to enhance the capabilities of the player. So for example, even faster power shots or even higher accuracy on those kind of passes. And this is most definitely very noticeable because now it's across the pitch in all different areas. And the impact of it, I think, is super noticeable. And what is quite important, this is another layer on top of attributes, because of us now, you just have attributes on those players and maybe the weak foot and the skill moves and stuff like this, the height and weight. But now there's something which is going to determine that there's a player who is even better in certain aspects. And this is extremely noticeable. And also what is quite important is that especially those Playstyle Plus, so like the better level for a certain playstyle, is going to be very rare at the beginning. So this is going to make a difference, especially at the beginning, what kind of Playstyle Plus is on a certain player, if there is a certain Playstyle Plus on a player. So the impact of it, I think we cannot underestimate it, and that's why I had to put it on number 1. And now it's your turn. Write down your top 5 of the new gameplay features in the comment section below and let me know. What did I miss? What is much more relevant in your eyes? And you can also share your opinion, what you think about this set of new gameplay features for FC24. And if you like this video, please give us a like and also subscribe to our channel if you want to see more, because our mission is to give you the best gameplay experience and the most fun when you're playing FC24. So if you like that, feel free to follow us, to join our community. This is it from my side. Thanks for your attention. Keep a clean sheet. I'm out.